Your son made me pregnant. Excuse me, but pay me $30,000 in alimony. That's what I heard when I answered the restaurant's phone. It was a young woman speaking, and she was talking so fast, she didn't even give her name. I thought it must be a prank, so I didn't take it seriously. I never imagined it would turn into such a big problem. My name is Melissa Brown. I own a popular restaurant in New York City that's been featured on TV and in magazines. Because of that, we're always fully booked for lunch and dinner. But being well known also means we get a lot of prank calls and pushy salespeople. So, when I heard this woman's strange accusation, I thought it was just another joke. The woman claimed my son had made her pregnant. That really surprised me. I do have a son, but the idea that he got someone pregnant seemed ridiculous. Still, her shocking words caught my attention, so I decided to listen a bit longer just for fun. I had an abortion, she said. What are you going to do about the pain I've suffered? Pay for the surgery too? I interrupted. Who am I speaking to? Exactly. Even when we get prank calls, I have to stay polite because it's part of running a business. I also didn't want her spreading false rumors about our restaurant. I'm a customer at your restaurant, she said angrily. Is that the first thing you asked after your son hurt me? Your family has no common sense or compassion. I found it hard to believe that my son would do such a thing. My staff could tell something was off, so I smiled and waved to let them know everything was okay. Your son attacked me in the street, she continued. And you recognized him in the dark? I asked, trying to make sense of it. Don't pretend you don't know. I'm sure it was your son. Hell lives with you, doesn't he? I've been terrified ever since and can't even go out alone anymore. What are you going to do about it? She started explaining how the assault happened. I think you might be confusing my son with someone else, I said. But this sounds serious. Could we meet in person to talk about it? Usually, people who make prank calls like this don't want to meet face to face, so I thought suggesting a meeting would make her back off. At first, I was just listening to her for fun, but the call was going on too long. I hoped suggesting a meeting would end it. Meet with the criminal's parent? How dare you ask me that? She said angrily. I just want to verify your story in person. So, you're saying I'm lying? That's not what I meant. To be honest, I wanted to say, are you lying? But I held back. Then she started insulting me, saying, I can't believe someone like you owns a business. Why don't we meet and talk? I suggested again. But no matter how many times I asked, she refused to meet. So, what do you want me to do? Pay me alimony $30,000. But this is a case of mistaken identity, and I can't afford that much money. You can't pay it. I know your business is doing well, or I'll sue you. Even though my business is successful, it's a small restaurant, and $30,000 is a lot of money. I had no intention of paying. Are you sure you want to get the police involved? I asked. I don't care. When I responded calmly, she went quiet for a moment. If my son had really done something wrong, I would take responsibility, but I didn't believe he did. You're confident your son didn't do it. You should doubt him more. I would, if there was proof. Do you have any evidence? There was silence on the other end. If there is no proof, I'm hanging up, I said, trying to end the call. Wait, if I bring evidence, will you pay the alimony? I'll consider it. Then wait, I'll bring the evidence, she said before hanging up quickly. One of my employees, Mr. Murphy, saw I was a bit shaken and asked, Are you all right? Oh no. It's fine, just a prank call, I reassured him. I didn't believe she had any proof, so I didn't expect her to call again, but I still felt uneasy, worried she might show up and cause a scene at a restaurant. Later that evening, as we were preparing for dinner service, I had already forgotten about the phone call. Mr. Murphy rushed up to me, holding a manila envelope, looking as pale as a ghost. What's the matter? You never run in the restaurant. Oh no, this came, he said, handing me the envelope. Inside was a letter that read, Ms. Melissa Brown. I was assaulted and became pregnant by your son. Please transfer $30,000 as alimony. Below were the bank transfer details, with the recipient's name listed as Karen Williams. Mr. Murphy had already seen the contents and was clearly disturbed by the unsigned, unsealed letter. Calm down. But, you know my son, right? I asked. Hearing this seemed to ease his nerves a bit. There was something else in the envelope. I pulled it out. It was a pregnancy test. What's that? He asked. The other employees had noticed the commotion. Some gave me suspicious looks, wondering if it could really be true. However, I explained the situation, and they seemed to relax. I put everything away on my desk and tried to focus on my work. Several days passed, and I didn't send any money, but the whole thing left me feeling uneasy. A few days later, Mr. Murphy approached me again with another manila envelope in hand, looking fed up. Oh no, this came again? I see. Check the contents and put it away like usual, I said. These harassing letters had started appearing in the restaurant's mailbox multiple times a day. The messages in them were getting more aggressive, filled with accusations like, "Are you planning to run? Pay up." The owner's son got a college girl pregnant and didn't even apologize. The restaurant owner is heartless, cruel, and irresponsible. It's your fault your son turned out this way. Take responsibility. I'll make sure no customers come to this restaurant. It's for the good of the world. The letters were unsettling. There hadn't been any actual claims about tampering with our food, but the anxiety that we might get set up was exhausting. In the midst of this, I noticed something. Strangely, we had more empty seats during lunch. The number of customers is slowly decreasing, I thought. Yes, it's unusual. Today, 2 tables were empty, I noted, feeling bad for the ingredients in the kitchen that weren't being used. Oh no, Mr. Murphy called, walking over with his laptop. Look at this review site, he said. On the screen, the latest reviews were full of nasty, slanderous comments like, "Bad customer service, they don't listen to customers, especially the owner. She's gotten too full of herself after being on TV and in magazines. The food is getting worse. The soup tasted bland this time. I saw an employee drop meat on the floor and sneak it back onto the grill." Every single day, more bad reviews were posted, and our star rating was dropping fast. I realized I was shaking with anger. This is unacceptable. Why should our restaurant, which we've worked so hard to build for our customers, be damaged by these false accusations? How are the preparations going? I asked, my voice colder than usual. They're almost done, Mr. Murphy replied. I couldn't help but smirk. It had been a week since we found out about the nasty comments on the review site, and since then, fewer and fewer customers had been coming in. I stepped out into the dining area and saw Mr. Anderson, one of our regulars, sitting at the counter with a young woman. "Mr. Anderson, thank you for coming as always," I said. "It's been tough for you lately, Melissa," he replied sympathetically, "but don't give up." I smiled and said, "Well, this restaurant is my life." Mr. Anderson shook his head. "You're strong, especially with everything going on with your son. But don't worry, we'll support you as he takes responsibility for his actions." What? I was confused and didn't know what he meant. He continued, "I noticed the restaurant's quieter than usual, so I asked about it. This young lady here showed me a webpage about the restaurant." He nodded toward the woman next to him, a pretty girl in her early 20s. She added, "I really feel for you. I love this place, so I've been coming more often to help out. I remembered seeing her frequently in the restaurant lately." "Excuse me, but what's written online is a misunderstanding," I said, still trying to figure out what was happening. She responded, "The regulars were curious about why it's been so quiet, so I explained the situation to them." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. "Wait, what are you saying?" "I mean, it said not to know the truth. I thought you'd appreciate that people like me and Mr. Anderson are still coming to support the place," she said. "You've been spreading rumors to our customers without knowing the facts," I said. raising my voice, forgetting to stay professional. "Wow, that's scary," she said, leaning back as if expecting me to lash out. "The internet says the owner is a terrible person." I didn't think it was true at first, but now I see you're just like the mother of someone who assaults women. Maybe you should apologize if you did something wrong. Mr. Anderson quickly jumped to my defense. "Miss, that's not a nice thing to say. Melissa's probably tired from everything going on." But I was too shocked to respond, and then something unexpected happened. The woman's back slipped off the back of her chair and fell to the floor as she twisted around in her seat. Even though I was still furious, my instinct to help kicked in, and I bent down to pick up her bag. That's when I saw Karen Williams, the name written on her student card. I frowned when I saw what had fallen out. "No worries, I'll pick it up myself," the young woman said quickly, getting off her chair to grab her bag and it, but I was faster. "Hey, give it back." I stared at it. The name was Karen Williams, same name from the letter with the pregnancy test, though the test itself didn't prove anything. "So, it was you. I've been looking for you, Karen Williams." I must have swapped it with a friend's by mistake." "I'm not Karen," she stammered. "Your face matches the one on this ad," I said, showing it to her. "Interesting, you're a student at Central College, aren't you?" "No, I'm telling you, you've got the wrong person." Mr. Anderson, sitting next to her, looked confused, unsure of what was happening. "I'm going to sue you," I said loudly, catching the attention of the few customers in the bar. What did I do?" she asked, panicked. "I think you know exactly what you've done. Why don't we tell everyone here?" I glanced around. The bar was mostly filled with regular customers. While I appreciated their loyalty, I was frustrated that we had hardly any new customers because of this woman's actions. "Let's start with this. Are you the one who claimed my son assaulted you and got you pregnant, demanding alimony?" I glared at her, waiting for her to answer. "Yes, that's me," she admitted, surprisingly quickly. "Your son assaulted me." "What? You want to humiliate me in front of all these people? This could hurt your restaurant's reputation," she said, crossing her arms defiantly. Her attitude only made me angrier. "Mr. Murphy, bring everything over," I instructed. Mr. Murphy rushed over with a laptop and a stack of envelopes and documents about 4 inches high. "Was it you who kept sending all these harassing letters to the restaurant?" I asked, reading one of the letters out loud for the other customers to hear. "Hey, poor Ron. This owner is the parent of a criminal. Her son impregnated a college girl and didn't even apologize. I'll make sure customers stop coming here. It's for the greater good." Some regulars covered their mouths, shocked at the harsh words. "This is pure harassment," I said firmly. "There's no proof I sent those letters," she said, trying to defend herself. "Maybe someone else sent them just for fun." I silently opened the laptop and showed her another review site. "Some of you may have seen this. The defamation here. Is this your work too?" I asked. "Where's your proof?" she shot back. "Are you even thinking clearly?" "You seem to like talking about evidence," I said, pulling out the first letter and the pregnancy test we had received. "This is the pregnancy test you sent as proof. What do you think, Mr. Anderson? Doesn't this red line look like it's just drawn on?" Even Mr. Anderson, with his old eyes, could see that the test was fake. The customers who were listening started whispering among themselves, unsure of what to believe. The woman shouted, insisting, "I was assaulted by your son. He even admitted it. It's disrespectful to doubt me." Some of the customers looked confused, unsure whom to trust. She added, "Since I'm the victim, everything I say must be true." Then, she started crying, trying to gain sympathy. I decided it was time to set things straight. "I'll prove it," I said. "My son is 3 years old." At that, she let out a small, shocked "what?" as if she had lost all her confidence. "My son may be strong for his age, but there's no way he could have assaulted you." She tried to defend herself. No, you have a big son. You live with him, right? I even have a picture." She pulled out her phone and showed a picture of a young man talking to me at the back door of the restaurant. "Oh, isn't that Taylor?" she asked, growing confident again. "You do have two sons." "That's not right," I quickly corrected her. "Then who is this person?" she asked, now smirking. "Don't tell me he's your lover having an affair with a younger guy who then gets a college girl pregnant. What a scandal. Not only is your restaurant done for, but so is your marriage." I took a deep breath and calmly responded, "That person is my niece." "Your niece?" she asked, shocked. "Yes, and she's actually a girl. She's a tomboy and is often mistaken for a boy, even as an adult. She's a college student, and since she stays at my place, she helps with cooking dinner and picking up my son as part of rent. If you need proof, I can't bring her here for you to meet." She stood there stunned, unable to respond. I continued, "Either way, I've already collected evidence about the harassment letters and the posts on the review site." "Evidence?" she stammered, her confidence crumbling. "Yes, I've consulted with the police and my lawyer. We matched your fingerprints to the ones on the harassment letters. All the posts on the review site were confirmed to come from you." She looked pale and drained, sinking to the floor as if she couldn't believe what was happening. "You were just saying it's better to apologize quickly if you've done something wrong, weren't you?" I reminded her. She mumbled something, but I couldn't tell if it was an apology. "I'll contact the police about this," I said firmly. "I'll also inform your parents and your college. Be ready for a lawsuit for emotional distress and damages." "No, please don't do that. I'm still a student. Please have mercy," she begged. "You may be a student, but you're an adult over 18. You need to take responsibility for what you've done." "I can't handle this. Please stop," she pleaded. After that, I filed a criminal complaint against Karen Williams for defamation, business obstruction, and damages to my shop. It turned out that Karen had a habit of overspending on expensive bags and clothes using credit, and when she couldn't pay her bills, she resorted to these actions. As a result, she was expelled from college. This whole incident even made the news. Now, ironically, Karen herself has been receiving harassment after her personal information was exposed. Through my lawyer, we got all the slanderous posts on the review site deleted. Surprisingly, the situation ended up benefiting the restaurant, as it cleared up any misunderstandings with my regular customers. The number of customers returned to normal, and most of my regulars stayed loyal despite the lies Karen spread. It was satisfying to know that people didn't just believe her false claims. Moving forward, I plan to keep running the restaurant and continue earning the trust of my customers.